thing before I started. Whoops.
Done that before. Just two weirdos hanging out.
Update. Alright, Zencaster's up. Close Twitter. Gonna mute this. And alright. You ready to get going?
Yep.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to League of Legends Anonymous, episode 204? Is that what I typed? I think I typed 4.
I think so. Yep.
Okay,
That's correct.
Episode 204. So, on episode 204, it is me, your host, Wise Papa Smurf, with my boy Zill. What's up, Zill?
Hey, fellas. Hey, friends.
So, it's just a two-man show. We couldn't get it going on Thursday. Shit kept happening, so we just decided we were going to do it tonight and, just get you out something so we could talk about something. So maybe you get your LOLA fix, we get you a little better, everything's going good, and that's that. So, first things first, I got some real quick thank you sort of announcements. The Patreon has hit over 200. We're doing really well. We nailed that landmark. So we are working with our video editor. We're going to put out some stuff. I don't know what or when, but it should be really fucking cool. So hopefully we can get that done. Thank you for everybody who helped donate to make that a reality. We have to keep that mark so I can keep paying him. But if we do that, it's looking good for we're going to have a video editor. So that's pretty awesome. Secondly, there was a lot of complaints about Zill's mic and how it sucks ass.
Yeah.
So we upgraded my mic, and then we gave my mic to Zill.
Because your mic's great.
Yeah. So anyway, that was really good, and we had enough to pay for that. And also, when the podcast accidentally charged Sam's credit card for hosting the website, I had money to reimburse him. So that was good. We got everything fixed, prepaid. It's awesome. And, I really appreciate you guys. It's super, super cool that people want to take the opportunity to financially support what we're doing here. And it's super awesome. So thank you guys for that. Also, we have gotten a whole lot of people who have lately stepped up and said hey, thank you for helping me. It helped me get my landmark to do some of the things that you were talking about, where I've got people who said they made gold for the first time this season. One guy said he won his promos to silver for the first time. So that's awesome. And then I actually have had 3 or 4 people who made gold
a lot of success
season.
Stories, which is really cool. That's what we're here for.
I love hearing that kind of stuff. And, I've been getting a lot of DMs and Twitter from people who are like, hey, I just, watch the podcast first time, or I listen to it all the time at work, stuff like that. I love hearing stuff like that, guys. Thank you so much. It keeps it going, because a lot of times when you're doing this, I'm literally just talking to my computer and Zill. You know what I mean? So it's weird because you just throw it out into the ether. It's like fishing if you just threw bait in the water and left.
Right.
You have no idea what you caught, but you assume there's some satisfied fish on the other side. And it's really nice to hear that. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So, topics for today. Zill, what do you got?
Oh, I got a listener question that's a little bit complicated. And there's some things you and I discussed about how people can get better at League. So I think we'll be going over a little bit of that today.
All right.
And I also have some announcements about the tournament once we get those up. So
all right.
Talk about that.
Yeah, let's do the announcements for the tournament at the end because I think that's pretty sexy. People are going to want to listen to that, and I'm going to make them listen to the whole show before they get there. So suck it. It may not even be at the end. We may just randomly interject it into the middle. You're going to have to listen to find out, fuckers. All right. So now that I've officially alienated our audience, we're going to talk about that. I want to talk about. I'm going to go on a slight rant. So, standard show format, short rant of medium length or long rant, and then we talk about whatever we're going to talk about, right? So,
Right.
here is my rant. Watch the UNSW Law Society videos. I don't know how many times I have to say this. So, what are they? What the hell am I talking about? Why do I keep pointing you guys to a third party resource? Years ago, this group from University of New South Wales made a law society where literally this guy Froxon, who now works for Riot, made these videos about how to get to diamond, right? Just
Hmm.
from bronze all the way to diamond. And they are literally the best educational resource I've ever seen for League. So that being said, like, here's what they actually are, right? They talk about how to trade in laning phase, how to be aggressive, how to jungle, how to support in particular, how to do a duo lane, how to manage all ins in a duo lane, how to manage positioning, how to manage like absolutely everything. And they originally recorded these in an hour long seminar lecture, like a college class.
Yeah.
And that was a lot. People did not particularly like it because it was so long. And so then what they did is they distilled all those videos down to like a 7-minute clip. Those 7-minute clips, there's like 10 or 15 of them. It is about this, watching all of them start to finish is about the same time you would put into watching a movie.
Yep.
So if you were to do that, it is the functional equivalent of playing thousands of League games. I could in it could take me over. Actually, you know what? I was going to say it would take like 2,000 games to figure that crap out, but I don't think at 2,000 games I would have figured that crap out if I hadn't been told or hadn't seen it on that video first.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
So,
does.
like, you can literally spend thousands of games trying to figure out something on your own, or you can spend all of your games after having watched it perfecting what you've learned. Right? It's a hell of a lot different. And a lot of the reason why I tell people I want you to watch those first before I do coaching is because coaching is literally tweaking the rules and mechanics that you already learned in watching those videos. Right?
Right. These videos are the fundamentals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an adjustment onto the fundamentals, right? It's like if you went to a basketball camp, but you didn't know how to hold a basketball, or you had no concept of how to dribble,
Right.
right?
Dribbling is a good example. Yeah.
I couldn't really teach you anything if you didn't already know like that much,
Yeah.
right? Or I'd spend my whole time being like, okay, well, this is how you dribble. And you don't need a coach to tell you that. You just need to see how it's done and practice it
Right.
until you're good at it. So, I mean, please, guys, there is a huge reason I have that is like the only request I make of you to burn a ton of time with you is just please watch those fucking videos because they are everything you actually need to hit diamond. And if you don't believe me, I am living proof of that.
I actually am too. So when I first started playing League, it was my roommate Aaron who got me into playing the game, and we duo queued for a little bit. And he expressed some frustration with my play and stuff like this, and then he would like say phrases like trading stance and things like this, or last hitting, and I was like, "What is this? Like, I'm just trying to support you, man." And he sat me down in front of the TV in the living room, and we had like a 2-hour just session of talking and watching these videos. And like that was the month I got to silver. Like that was how I got out of bronze, was just like by learning that stuff. So when we show you these videos and we ask you to watch them, like it's based on personal experience that we're saying, hey, go do this. This is what you need to know to start getting better at League. We're not just passing you off to some video series like, get out of my face. Like, no, this is like literally what you need to do.
And I literally cannot explain it any better than they did. That's the other thing. Like,
Yeah.
they really did a good job. So you can watch this, and it's like pre-recorded perfect material, or I can tell you the same thing, and it's not going to be as effective as the way that they presented it in a coaching session, right? So I have made it easy for everybody. Go to YouTube, search for LOLA Podcast. There is a playlist on our channel, and that playlist is absolutely all of those videos. The short versions and the long ones if you're so inclined. I actually like the long ones, but the short
Yeah,
ones
they
are
have more
good.
detail.
Yeah, the short ones are good too though. I mean, I wouldn't turn, wouldn't turn my nose up at the short ones as being effective because they're fine. They're good. So, you can do literally either one of those that you want to spend the time to watch. Like I watched the long ones, but I watched them before the short ones came out. So, anyway, please guys, please take the time in watching it because it's like I'm gonna say this and it's gonna sound dickish when I say it, and kind of
Uh-oh.
maybe it halfway is, but like, don't tell me you want to get better, and then I say, have you watched those videos? And you say, no, I'd rather play games. Well, then you don't want to get better. It's as simple as that. Like, if you want to get better, you have to try. There's no, like, magic bullet thing I'm just going to all of a sudden tell you, and you're going to be like, holy shit, I'm better overnight. Thanks, Blake, for my ELO vitamin. Like, it's not
Right.
going to happen. You have to do that. Like, you've got to meet the game in the middle and try. And if you're not willing to even watch a video, then you're really not all that committed to getting better. You're committed to maybe playing games, but that's not what's going to get you better.
Right. And it sounds weird. It sounds counterintuitive. You know, playing games isn't going to make you better. And it's the key word is like necessarily. I mean, is that right?
Well,
It's
shit, I've
because
had the people I started playing with in like season 2 or 3 has played about 6,000 games of League and is gold.
right. We see this a lot. Like you can go through people's op.ggs and it's like they one trick, one champion. You know, totally guilty here, right? And like they've got 800 games on them, and yeah, they're still gold 5. And like that just shouldn't be the case. The amount of thousands of hours that you put into this, and it's because of the way the human brain works. We tend to like go on autopilot and repeat the same mistakes because it's easy to do that. The brain doesn't like to like learn. It's hard for it to actually critically think about what it's doing on a moment to moment basis. So you get in this like rut of just doing the same thing over and over again, and you're expecting to improve, and you're just not until you like take a step back, actively engage with what you're doing outside of it, and then try to go back into playing with that mindset. And that's what these videos like start to help you do, and what coaching will eventually help you do better, because you have like an outside voice that can like watch you while you're doing those things. But yeah, fundamentals first.
Yeah.
That's key.
And the other thing is, you've got to actually put a conscious effort towards improvement. Like, you have to focus on a thing, improve that thing, and then make it to where it becomes a habit, and then you can put it away. Right? And
Mhm.
if that is your mentality in playing games, you won't get better by just like try harding a whole bunch of ranked games, right? Like, man, I'm just gonna play ranked and I'm gonna get better. And it's like, no, you're probably gonna end up right around where you are, and you're gonna get worse actually, because you're gonna get really frustrated when you lose because you're really trying hard to gain elo and you're losing. And every loss feels like a huge setback, and that's going to cause you to tilt. Then you're going to get mad at ranked. And does any of this sound familiar to anybody listening to me? right? Like
Yep.
you don't climb elo by trying to climb elo. You climb elo by getting better.
Right.
So, that's my rant. And if you
It's,
want to get better, you've got to put in the effort to get better. And that's it. And if you're not getting better and you think you're putting in the effort and you like haven't watched these videos, for example, you're not putting in the effort, right? Or if you think you're getting, if you think you're not getting better and you are putting in the effort and you have watched the videos and you are focusing on something, you just don't know what to do, that's when you hit me up. I will
yep.
coach you. I will help you. I will give you something to work on that can actually improve your play and get you that next peak. But you have to get there. I'm not going to play the game for you. I'm not
Right.
going to, I'm not going to do it with you the whole time. You have to do that. You have to get
Mhm.
better, right? Oh, one more thing. I slight bonus rant. It is not your fucking teammates that you are losing, right? There is some, I've had that come up in general chat. Like I've heard that from at least 7 different people in the last week to 10 days. Like, oh, I lost this because bad teammates, right? And you know what? If you tell me I lost my series because bad teammates, I'll say, okay, that's possible, right?
Yeah. I
Because
feel that.
because series are 3 games, and if you get a bad draw on teammates, you can lose all three. Or
Yeah.
you can lose 2 of the 3. Fine. Yeah. Okay, I get it. That's bad teammates. That can happen. Any one game can be sunk by bad teammates. That is the 30-40-30 rule.
Right.
30% of games you cannot win. 40% of games you can influence to either win or lose. 30% of games you
Games
literally cannot
cannot lose.
lose.
You can't lose.
So,
That's what I queue up with Ponders.
yeah, there you go. 30-40-30 rule, man. So, like, if that's the case and you just got 2 30 I cannot win games in a row in your promos, that sucks. But you'll get that bonus win shit unless you're plat. So next time you get in the promos, you get a free win. Okay. Well, it doesn't completely sting, but it sucks, right? And yeah, that can happen. Those kind of short-term runs can happen, right? And it feels
Mm-hmm.
fucking awful. But if you say, I am bronze, I am silver, I am gold because of bad teammates, you are wrong. Like,
Yep.
unequivocally, you are wrong. You are not in an elo because of bad teammates, right?
You're not
And it,
stuck in Elo. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So imagine this. Does that logic hold true if I was playing your games? Would I still be stuck in that elo?
Right. If I was with your teammates, could I carry it?
Yeah, would I carry it? And if your answer is, oh, well, yeah, I mean, you're a diamond or Zill's a plat. Of course they would carry my silver games. Logic doesn't hold up. Logic doesn't hold up. If your teammates are uncarryably bad, sure, I'd probably lose some games. That'll happen. I'm not that good. It's not. I'm not a challenger, right? But I mean, if those games are truly winnable, over time you will come out of it. Like over time you will climb. You have to
Mm-hmm.
be the difference maker in your games. And I guarantee you there's some reason there that's not being addressed. And whether that's through lack of knowledge because you haven't, watched the videos, you haven't done any other shit, or if it's just lack of coaching because you haven't taken the time or put yourself out there to have someone independently review you. That is why you are stuck. And that is how you can get better. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a humbling experience, but you have to go through it. Like shit, I'm gonna have a hell of a time right now because I am not playing at a diamond level right now in solo queue, and soon enough I'm going to queue and start getting my play back in order, right?
Yep.
Because I mean I've pretty much shit this season away, and I've got to fix that. So I'm gonna pretty much queue and lose a bunch, and it's gonna feel like shit. And this may
Yeah.
be this may be the point at which I look to somebody better than me. Like I reach out to one of the old friends on the show, like Painless or Hanjaro or somebody like that, and ask them to coach me.
Hmm.
And I may record that, and I may put that up on YouTube if I can get it set up. And yeah, it's gonna be humbling, and I'm down because if you want to get better, you gotta be willing to bend over on some of this shit. And you
Uh,
just can't take that personal. It's just part of it. It's just
mhm.
part of it. Okay, so Zil, your thing. What do you wanna? We were talking about brains earlier.
Oh yeah, I think I kind of mentioned over it. Actually, a lot of that actually had to do with mentality, right?
Yeah,
And how it's easy to just autopilot through things. Um, and that's what I was learning about. I was watching a video about psychology, and it's called "The Science of Thinking." It's by a YouTube outfit called Vertasium. I'll post the video in the Discord so you guys can watch it. But basically, psychologists have kind of broken down how the brain works into two systems. They call them System 1 and System 2. And System 1 is like your thinking self. It's who you think you are. It's what you do. It's who's present when is learning.
So
The thing,
system one is fucking awesome at League of Legends.
kind of, System 1 is careful, is the thing. System 1 is thoughtful about what is happening in the moment to moment. The thing is, System 1 is also kind of slow. He's not very fast on his feet. He's being careful, but he's also really lazy, and like he doesn't want to have to think because thinking requires effort. Thinking is difficult, um, and so even though like System 1 is like if you do a long division problem, right? System 1 is like the one that's present in the moment, working through that, without a calculator. Uh, and
System one
it
is a guy
totally
who has to
sucks.
do long division.
Yeah, he's the guy who's
Ah, it
the long division.
sucks to be
It's painful and it
System
hurts.
one's a math bitch.
I mean, he's the one who has to do it though. The thing is, System 1 constantly wants to hand off things in the brain to System 2, which is like your non-thinking self, your automated um, answer box, more or less. System 1 is like a fast computer. You just throw something in and it spits an answer out based on your past experience, based on memory, and based on like pattern recognition, what you've seen before. Thing is, System 2, even though it's really great at processing information quickly, it tends to make a lot of mistakes because of that. And because of the laziness of System 1, it's always trying to pass things off to System 2. That's where you get into a lot of like mentality sort of mistakes. And I think it applies to like League of Legends. It's when you play lots and lots of games and you're just like refreshing the memory from System 2, and System 1 is actually not engaged with what is happening, not thinking, oh, I should, like, the reason why this happened is because 3 minutes ago, I shouldn't have wasted my summoner spell at this instance, or, um, eh, you know, I shouldn't have tried to go ward here, obviously. I just went to ward there because it was automated that we should have vision here in my System 2, but the System 1 didn't check whether or not that was a safe place to go into.
Okay.
And so you have to like basically
So
what
like
you
let me
go
let
ahead.
me let me think about this for a second because there's like a lot of ways that can impact your game,
Sure,
right?
sure,
So you can go, okay, well, I'm going to turn off System 1. I'm going to go to
right,
System 2. And ICS. I'm an
right,
ADC. I shoot minions.
right.
System 2.
Yep,
I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, except I am kind of looking at those minions. And I don't see the jungler come in, or I don't see my support position for pressure, and I don't
right,
move forward, or I don't, whatever. Or like, let's even do this. Uh, I flashed. Well, system 2 back on. We're back in laning phase. I'm standing near
right,
my minions, they're standing near theirs, but I'm not
right,
accounting for the fact that I no longer have a flash.
right.
Right? Like shit, how many times have you done this? I'm going to kill him. And then you try to flash in and you don't have flash.
Right.
And you're like, oh, shit. Or like, oh, here's one. I did a whole bunch of really good trades, but now I don't have mana, but I don't realize I don't have mana. And
Yeah.
I use one ability, and then I can't use the other ones that would have been like absolutely critical,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, here's one. I was playing Zillion. I like threw a bomb, and then I was gonna double bomb. Then the second bomb never came. I was like, hmm,
You didn't have W?
didn't have the mana.
Oh, well,
It just went,
that doesn't work.
huh, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
That's
horseman.
embarrassing because that's something like your opponents know you don't have as well, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
they
I
knew that
mean,
you messed up.
I
Oh,
mean, dude, I am super guilty. Like, this is not something you do when you're bad at League. This is something everybody does at League, right?
yes.
It is
To
about
some extent, yeah.
making constant effort to not do this
That helps you get
all
better.
the
Right.
time during a game. Because, like, if you ever have those moments where somebody's like, pay attention, jackass. They
Right.
walked right by you. Then you were definitely on like brain 2.
Yeah.
You know, because you were focused entirely on something else. So like, I'm gonna throw this back to you in just a second. But like, one of the ways and like what we preach on like how to get better is play the same fucking champion, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
reason I say that is you would think, but Blake, if I play the same champion, aren't I more likely to go on autopilot? And to a certain extent, that may be somewhat true. But if you are subconsciously competent at your champion, right? Like you know exactly what that champion does and how to play that champion, then you have to put less focus on executing what that
Yes.
champion does, and it frees up more brain space to focus on other things.
So that's the thing. It's like system two we made kind of sound like garbage, right? It's like it's the one that makes mistakes. It's the one that goes too fast. But if you can train it properly with playing the same champion over again and over again, then you can then free up space for system one to learn more things on top of that. So like the instinctively knowing you don't have flash, having those like automated clocks in your head for when certain buffs are ready, right? When you're the jungler or you're pathing, or and those things kind of become subconscious. You've fed them into system two because you've learned them carefully with system one and then properly handed them off. Um, it's then when you get into new situations and you keep like referring to system two, and like system two doesn't have information to go off of, and then you make more mistakes like that. So yeah, I'll post the video in the Discord. I think it's really helpful. The thing is, that's the main thing. Is like it's about how to like think of your brain when it comes to learning, and then if you're able to consciously realizing when you're playing on autopilot, and then try not to do that as much, so that you can focus on
So
actually what
let's
we're
talk
talking.
about like how do you turn this off? Like how do you focus or force focus? Because like I said, playing the same champion was my first tip.
Yeah.
My second one is focus on a skill in a game, right? So
Right.
like for me, when I was trying to climb out of plat and into diamond for the first time, I was constantly getting ganked, like a lot in bot lane. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, my God, are junglers just this fucking good? Like, what the fuck am I
Yeah.
having to put up with all these fucking junglers always in my fucking lane? And then I
Right.
was like, well, wait a minute. I need to have a ward out at, like 2:30. And that was the
Mm-hmm.
gank timer at the time. Now it's a little pushed back, but
Is
I
it
need. Well, it was.
mid lane gets ganked like
Well, I'm saying bot lane.
okay.
Nobody
Okay.
does level 2 cheese ganks bot anymore.
Oh man.
It's too risky. And I mean, keep in mind I say that, and then like by the time the episode's out, it's probably going to be meta to do level 2 cheese ganks bot. But it is not a huge. It used to be a thing like back then 2 seasons ago when I was plat to diamond. Like that was what you fucking did. Like that was your jungle route was like start here, go here, then straight down, you
Right.
know, and try to get that double. And we were always getting ganked. I was like, God damn, I have really got to focus on this. So every game, I spent a lot of effort just looking at my trinket and then going, okay, my trinket's up. I need to go put a ward down. Okay, my trinket's up. I need to go put a ward down. And I did that for probably 10 games in a row of just putting hard focus on my trinket,
Okay.
right? And making sure I hit it on cooldown. And then back when I could buy a sightstone, I would buy a fucking sightstone and make sure that all my shit was up on the right timings, right?
Right.
And it was pretty awesome. Like I got really good at it. It felt natural. And now I'm gonna have to do all of it over again because I can already that part of my game has slipped,
Yeah.
and I need to fix that. Right? So that's how I'm gonna hyper focus is I'm gonna go, am I warding? What's the cooldown timer on my shit, right? Another one of these I did was I didn't hit tab enough when people came
Mm,
into lane, like came
man,
back into
yeah.
lane. I didn't know what their power spikes were because I didn't take in that information. I wasn't conscious of it.
Yeah.
So then I made that my point of focus was like every game when somebody comes back for the next 5 games or 10 games, I'm gonna make sure I hit tab every time I see somebody just to see where they're at, how strong they are, get an impression of, whatever. Because, like, how many times do you get in a game and you go, oh, well, so and so's fed? Shit, they just annihilated me. How many times has that
Right.
happened?
Right.
You
And
know,
you just realize that, even though the information has been being broadcast on your
yeah,
screen in real
yeah.
time,
All you
who
had to
is
do
actually
was
hitting.
hit tab at any point in the
Yeah.
game, and you would know that Zed is 5-0, but you didn't. And so then he just spontaneously cluster fucks you.
Mm,
I've done it. I'm guilty of saying that. I'm still not the best at this, right? Like, I should make a conscious effort at doing that again, because that is something that is just free information I'm not taking in, right? And when I go on autopilot and I don't even think about it, there are games where literally I can watch myself stream and I never hit tab.
yeah.
And I go,
Or when people go back to a lane that's their lane, right? But someone's already there pushing the minion wave. It's like mid game. And they need to be somewhere else. They need to go bot lane and stop that wave that's like actually crashing in the tower, but they just autopilot right to their. Oh, this is the role I'm in, so I'm just going to walk this direction.
ooh, ooh,
Uh,
here's one. Whenever my opponent is 3-0 and you autopilot, like, well, this is where I stand whenever I CS.
ugh,
And it's like, no, they're 3-0. They can murder you if you get in any kind of engage range with them. And people just don't account for that and then they die. I did that today. I was playing Gnar into Darius, and I literally kept going, I need to hold my jump until he pulls. I need to hold
mm.
my jump until he pulls. And then he would hit me with that slow, and I go, oh fuck! And then I jump and get yanked back in. I'm like, oh no.
Oh man,
I was like,
that
now,
is so
I was
bad.
like, now I'm dead. And that happened 3 times in one lane, and I just got fucking analed. And it was rough. Like, McGruff the crime dog rough. So, he took a bite out of crime up top. But anyway, and I was getting pummeled. I had like the worst Gnar game I've had in a long time. That guy like handed it to me. But then again, I was off roll, but whatever. You shouldn't be off roll and go 4-13.
Narn to Darius is like a hard matchup, right?
It's supposed to favor me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed
That's
to. If you play it right. I mean, basically you
okay.
chip him, and if he tries to run at you, you jump away before you get in pull range. And so
Okay.
you
I
just
used to
kite him
play the,
back
the
with a
Timo Darius matchup a lot, and I remember it being difficult because Timo's auto attack was like basically the same range as the pull.
right.
So yeah, it was like
Yeah.
really easy to get
Nar
grabbed.
has this really long fucking boomerang he throws.
Yeah, yeah. Nars Timo 2.0,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
So I mean, like I said, It's an interesting deal. Like you just gotta be aware of stuff like that and not just default to doing the things that you always do,
Or
right?
default to, yeah, and defaulting to the same excuses for why things go wrong. Oh, it was my jungler they didn't kill. They
Or
didn't go up here
or
or
default
whatever.
or default to being passive. I mean, I see that a lot. And that's not a shot at you, actually.
Is
Uh,
it not?
no, no, it's not. Like,
Okay, good.
so, like, in bot lane in particular, like, you're crushing, you're up 3-0, or you're up 4-0, whatever, right? And then everybody just stands, like, the minions meet, and that's the line of scrimmage. I'm going to stand back by my caster minions, and you're going to stand back by your caster minions, and we're going to square off like we're both 0-0.
Sure.
Nope. That is not what you should be doing. You should be up in their ass. They should be nowhere near their own minions. That's your land. You own it
Yeah.
now. You're 3-0. Don't default to doing something stupid because that's what you would do in a 0-0. Right? That's the normal. That's your default.
Yeah.
But you're not in a default situation anymore. Don't fucking do that.
Yeah. I will say the time that I got started to get really good at League, I was silver 1, I think, and I was playing Teemo top regularly. That's what I did. I built Frozen Mallet and did that horrible nasty cheese build. And I played with a Plat Sejuani
Mm-hmm.
jungler at the
Yeah.
time, and he only ganked my lane. It was just like his natural way of doing things. He's like, we're in comms together, so of course I'm just going to gank your lane.
Mm-hmm.
And so he would gank my lane like clockwork. Like every couple minutes, he was up top, and the top laners, of course, were furious. Like, oh, you're gamming my lane, all that kind of stuff. And he just thought that was hilarious. But in general, he kept coming top, and I never helped him in the gank. I just like, as Teemo, I just kept CSing it, kept pushing, or whatever it was. I played safe, laid mushrooms in bushes, hid in bushes, and he was just like, no, man, you have to come with me every time. When I say go, you go. And it took like maybe 30 times of him just like giving me that talk before I finally was just like, threw it to the winds and just like, even flashed in if I had to get within range to actually hit the enemy champion. Just followed him. As soon as he said go, I just went instinctively and I trusted. And doing that was hard because I had to like break out of the habits that I was normally doing. I had to listen to someone else and watch for someone else when they were coming on the mini map. And those are all things I was not used to doing. But just like getting that like reaction time was probably what I was like learning the most during that point in time. Was when this happens, go now. Like don't even like think, just do it. And a lot of times we'd die 2 under a tower or whatever. But that's what got me to gold. Like once I started playing solo queue by myself again, without him, that was the skill that helped me actually make it to the next level.
Yeah. Like I said, everybody kind of has their own cross to bear. We've all got our own habits to build and break on. And,
Yeah.
like, I think a huge barrier to a lot of that is people want to focus on what they do well and try to make it better.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's like me. I am a huge, that is a flaw of mine. Because, like, I will always try to hone making better razor's edge engagements, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
if everything plays out right, I'll walk out of this with 5 hit points, 5 more than I need, and they'll be dead. And like I know that, and this is how this is gonna shake out, and that's fine. But realistically speaking, and that's what got me diamond. Like that's what I'm really good at in the game. There are other things that I'm ass at, but that is the one skill that I've got that I can bank on. And the temptation is always there to try to get better at it. And if you've ever done any kind of anything, right? Like any RPG game, right? And let's say there's like a skill cap where you start out at 0. Anybody, you play Ultima Online, Zill?
Nope.
God damn it, this is a
I
perfect
know.
analogy for it. Okay,
Well,
so the skill in Ultima Online Majory is a baseline skill that you should always have on every character. It doesn't matter if you're going to be a fucking miner and a blacksmith. You need some magery to be able to recall and go to different areas, right? Like
Hmm.
to travel even requires some magery. And that skill is not only expensive, but very difficult to progress, right? Because it takes regions, you had to spend the money on the regions, and you keep casting spells to get up and up and up and up and up, right? And it's a lot easier to progress it to go from 0 to 10 than it is to go from 90 to 100, which is the cap, right? Like 90 to 100 takes thousands and thousands of gold worth of regions, and it's even getting a point 0.1 skill boost is incredibly difficult. Whereas 0 to 10, you cast like one spell and it's like, hey, here's point 0.2 skill, good job. You know,
Right.
so in life, that skill curve is still present, right? It is immensely difficult to go from mastering something to being a grandmaster at something, right?
Hmm.
But it is incredibly easy to go from sucking absolute donkey dick at something to being kind of bad at it. You know, like just going from atrociously inept to kind of bad is pretty easy. Going from kind of bad to is also pretty easy. Going from meh to good is more difficult. Still not hard. Going from good to great is hard. Going from great to master is real hard. And going from grandmaster or master to grandmaster is like really, really, really fucking difficult. Stop focusing on going from master to grandmaster on all your shit. Focus on going from real, real bad to like doesn't fuck over my own team because I'm horribly bad at something, right? Like, work on those things. Bring up your bottoms instead of making your peaks taller.
Bringing up your bottoms instead of making your peaks taller.
Raise that posterior.
How tall do you want my peaks, Blake?
Do what?
How tall do you want my peaks?
Your peaks? Uh, as long as they're twin, I don't care, baby.
Excellent.
Yeah, Zillion's the only person I know that gets better at League when it's cold. Because your peaks get taller.
Okay, that's right. I
Yeah,
was like,
Zill's
I am indoors more.
yeah, Zill's better at League in the dark because his headlights are on.
Jesus Christ.
Uh,
I'm tempted to flash you right now, but I really don't
yeah.
want that on the internet.
No, we're gonna get banned on Twitch. You're like, that's too hot. It's just too hot right now. So, this is gonna be a short episode. I didn't really, I wanted to get something out today, something I thought would be beneficial, and I think we've done that, right? So, Zill, why don't you go off on your announcement
Okay,
and on the tournament, and we'll try to wrap it up.
sure. So, yeah, I want to do a tournament because we're getting incredible turnout during community games. I put an announcement up on the Discord. Got a lot of messages back from people. Unfortunately, I've been just really kind of swamped lately. So I've been trying to like get those, messages, that data that people give me into a spreadsheet, so I can get everyone accounted for the tournament. But I've got it at only like halfway completed or so. So I put it in the announcements tab in the Discord, and I made it so anyone can edit it. So I just need people to go there and use that like as a sign-up sheet, and type in their name, type in their rank, and type in what their role is. It's all kind of listed right there.
So, are
And
you
with
gonna make the teams, or are
yes,
they gonna?
I will. I'm going to make the teams. I'm going to try and balance them based on the data people give me, so that they're fair. But I am not going to be playing in this tournament, so I'm going to try to make fair teams and not make anything biased towards myself. That is, unless we have people not show up, and I'm going to have myself and hopefully maybe another volunteer or two. You can contact me about this if you like, to kind of fill in on the day of the tournament, just in case certain people don't show up for their team, so that we have subs and there isn't any, you know,
Yeah.
teams don't get to play because not all their people showed up or whatever.
Yeah, so you don't have to provide your own subs. That's what you're saying.
Correct, correct. We'll kind of take that as we can in stride with what people we have available. But just get me your sign up information put on the sheet in the announcements channel in Discord. If you can do that for me, let's say, um, in the next couple of weeks or so, that would be very helpful for getting this thing rolling.
Sweet.
So,
So yeah, I
yeah.
mean, just so everybody knows, we've been having like 3 full 10-man rooms show up for community games. So if we turn that into a tournament, that's going to be kind of awesome. That's like 6 teams. But I mean, to be fair, it's more like 5 teams because people aren't going to show up and you're going to have alternates and shit. But yeah, no, that should be real nice. And yeah, who knows? I may shoutcast or I may play. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but I'll have some role in this thing. We'll do this. So I'm really excited. I think it'll be a really cool time.
Yeah, man, I really want to do this for everyone. Everyone seemed really excited. So, and I know that I've played on, amateur leagues before. I've even paid to play like with Vantage League when that was going back in the day, because that's probably the most enjoyment I get out of League of Legends is through community games that are organized and there are rewards for, even just bragging rights for doing well and
Oh
beating your
yeah.
friends.
That being said, the last time we did a tournament, we did like a skin prize or something, but we also did, and we will do again, the LOLA champion tag in the Discord. Your name will turn gold if you win in Discord,
Yeah.
and you'll have a little roll that says LOLA champion, so everyone will know. Everyone
That's awesome.
memorialized.
That
So.
sounds great.
So yeah, guys, please sign up for that. That should be pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Real good time. On the end of this,
Yeah, I do have a listener question if you want to go over that.
oh yeah, yeah, sure. Let's answer the listener question. I feel like we should, it's pretty short, so we could probably stand to add a little bit more content.
Okay, so one thing, listener Zui actually came at me with this the other day. I thought we could just bring it up on the podcast. Is he was playing Quintop, and he was, sometimes you win, do great, sometimes not. But he would get a lot of comments from people at the end of the game saying, hey, it's because you play Quintop that you messed up our comp. We didn't have a tank. So we weren't actually able to win the game because we didn't have the right composition of champions. We didn't have the roles properly filled in that regard. And so I was just going to kind of throw this out there to you. I tried to answer it for him. But basically, when do you need to worry about composition in solo queue? When do you need to look at, hey, we don't have enough damage, or we don't have enough tank, or we don't have enough AP, and then pick a champion based on those criteria instead of, just playing what you're good at or what you're used to playing.
Okay, so I think role matters a lot in this question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Individual flexibility matters. So like for me, for example, support should always be considering that exact question. Like, what does the team need more than anything? What do I need to do? What niche do I need to fill in order to best enable my team? That is my fucking role, right? So if I know that we need tank and we need engagement, right? Then I may end up picking somebody like Leona or Braum or, something like that, right? Or if I know like we need somebody to protect the ADC and we need disengagement, then Braum's a really good choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Nautilus or anybody that's got significant amounts of peel, right? That's big and bulky. Like these are all good choices. But None of those are choices if those champions are not in your limited champion pool.
Right.
If you are not good at those champions, like here's an example. I suck dick with Annie support. I'm just not good at it. I have tried to make it work. I am inept at that champion. I'm not good. And if the comp calls for Annie, and that's what I really, oh man, this team would be great if we had an Annie. Nope, not me, because I'm not good at it, and I know that, so I'm not gonna play it. At least not in ranked, right?
Hmm.
Because it's not in my pool. So, and in ranked, I default to almost one tricking. Like I play Thresh, I play Blitz, I play like a limited pool of that's what I play unless like playing Blitz or Thresh would lose us the game,
Right.
right? So redundancy is also another thing that you need to account for, right? Like if you're gonna pick Quinn top and you have a Zed and a Kane and a trying to think of a support that's a Pike and a Lucian, you should probably not play Quinn
Yeah.
because everybody does what you do
Yeah.
and
That's
you're
fair.
duplicating your team. So that's probably not a good idea. So if you have another champ in your stable that does something different than Quinn, play that this game, right?
Right.
There's a lot of games where like Zill, you were talking about sometimes like you're a Zill one trick. When do you play Brand?
Okay. Yeah. So that was the answer actually against this week was so I play Zillion almost all the time, right? But back in like Ardent Sensor meta, like when enchanters were like healing through tons of stuff all the time, if they had like a Soraka or someone who just like really did that super super well, I wouldn't play Zillion. I would play Brand or Cassiopeia instead, and that's because Zillion's like burst damage isn't enough to kill the people that are there. You need a different kind of damage for the team comp in order for things to work. You need to be able to kill people. And so I would pick Brand because he could apply, like grievous wounds, or he could actually burn through all the damage that Soraka did. He could apply grievous wounds for longer too with Marlenomicon. Um, and Cassiopeia, like kind of the same thing. It's just like you could get through all of that healing with the enormous amounts of damage. But also, there were other times where the only other thing I would probably consider mid lane with that in your composition is look at your team comp's CC, and that's where I found usually my team was actually lacking was we didn't have enough lockdown. It's when Yi was like really powerful and running away in the jungle. We needed somebody who could pin him down. Then I would pick my champion based on that. I pick Malzahar or I pick Sylvie for those kinds of things. Something with really reliable CC. So yeah, and it just depends on your role, what your role is traditionally known for. But don't pick things just because that's what your team needs. You have to be able to be good at it too. You have to be able to
Well,
play that shit.
I mean, keep in mind, whenever you're playing something like top, shit, mid, anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should have a bunch of champions. Like, you should have like 3 champions in your stable that you play, and they should not be the same. In fact, they should probably be pretty different, right? And you play those champions enough to where you're really comfortable on them.
Yeah.
So, like, example, if you are a Quinn main and you want to play Quinn top and that's your bag, you should also probably play like Ornn,
Yeah.
who's the opposite of Quinn in every way, or Scion, or whatever, right? Like, pick whichever, like, stupidly huge tank and learn how to play that. It's not that your choice lost the game, it's that your choice didn't synergize with your
Mm-hmm.
team. And if your last pick, that's kind of part of what you really need to consider, but it's also that's probably not what lost it for you,
Yeah, it
right?
was probably winnable in other ways, but it was absolutely in the deck stacked against you
hmm
if you
You're
did that.
accepting a disadvantage in certain
Correct.
scenarios,
Correct.
right? But if you play somebody like Quinn, that's a lane bully champion that you're trying to get smash advantage. And if you fail to get smash advantage, you probably didn't win hard enough. Like you probably didn't play well enough to justify picking that champion, which again, okay. Well, then that's you're not, you didn't do it right.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter what champion you played, right? And
Mhm.
I often see people try to do shit like this. It's like, well, I pick Nasus because every game I'm gonna eventually be relevant with Nasus, and it's like you're picking a champion not because of what your team needs, but you're trying to fall into one of your worst impulses
Mhm.
and like cover up for some kind of weakness you've got instead of dealing with it head on, right? Like if that's
Yep.
your mentality, right? And with Quinn, I guess could be considered the opposite, which is like I'm gonna kill. You know, well, you better, and if you don't smash with that, then it doesn't matter. You haven't created enough of an advantage to make a difference. I mean, shit, I've won games where we have like four marksmen.
I've one
It's
where we had four supports,
yeah.
but yeah,
I mean, it's stupid. Shit can happen, and if you get ahead, it doesn't. Your team comp doesn't often. I mean, it can matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter if you get ahead because it does, but like there are certain points in certain games where if they had like five hyper carries and you let the game go on long enough, you can't win. But I don't know. Aside from the most extreme situations, there are points at which your team comp may or may not matter, right? And if you're playing a champion because you're so good at that champion, then it's probably okay. So like if your team gets mad at you for first picking Quinn, they're wrong, right? If you fifth picked Quinn when you already had three assassins, you're probably wrong.
hmm
So I mean it's an interesting question and it's a good question. And like it does factor in a lot on what we're saying about like one tricking being really important. Whenever I say one tricking, I don't mean you have to play one and only one champion forever. I
yeah,
mean you have to primarily play one champion, but have like two more in your stable.
one trick with a pocket pick is kind of how to think.
Yeah, one trick with a pocket pick. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. So yeah, that's the kind of shit we're talking about. So do that. And don't be like me and be like, oh yeah, I main Thresh, but I also play Blitz as my other champion. Well, like,
yeah,
wait, what?
right.
But I mean, keep in mind, I don't have a champion pool. I have champion pond or lake. You know,
Yeah,
played.
stagnant.
Yeah, I've played like I've literally played every champion that can be played support for like 6 seasons now. So yeah, I mean,
Sure, but okay, yes, and certainly when you play normals, like that's the case,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But when you play ranked, what's your champion pool?
Oh, let me pull up my
Diamond four,
op.gg.
you know.
Yeah, no, let me pull up my op.gg and I can answer that question. Thresh, Blitz, and then my next closest is Zillion for some reason.
I like to think I had an influence there.
I mean, in the extent that a drug dealer creates a lifelong problem, you sure did.
I'll take it.
Yeah, but then it's like Thresh, Blitz, Zillion, Nautilus, Pike. Oh, this is because I'm putting Flex in.
Okay, I was like,
Oh
that
no,
seems
even
really
even if I
specific.
take Flex out, it's still Thresh, Blitz, Zillion, Morgana.
Okay, we're gonna those. Yeah, That's the champion you've also played in ranked right now. If you don't want anyone to have fun.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, my like if you go to my mastery page on the other hand, as to like what, and I'm not saying like I have so many masteries, but like Thresh, Bard, Ezreal, Blitzcrank. Wait, I didn't want to put Ezreal in that. That's an ADC. Thresh,
Okay.
Bard, Blitz, and Karma are my top four supports.
Okay.
I can't remember the last time I played Karma in ranked. I don't hardly ever play Bard in ranked anymore because you have to play Bard to the like one trick level
Yeah,
to
he
keep.
keeps fucking get wrecked at patch notes because of pro play, right?
Yeah, well, no, it's more that like his kit requires really precise shots to go through,
And
right?
Thresh
Like,
doesn't.
huh?
And
No,
Thresh doesn't.
not really. I mean, I could pick up Thresh after not playing Thresh for a while, and after 2 games, I feel like I'm good.
Okay.
You know, with Bard, it's like 15, 20,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, okay, I'm doing the stuff that I could do. But like, if you go on my plays.tv, all my Bard clips are from like runs where I played Bard for like 50, 60 games in a row. You know,
Yeah.
and then I'm like hitting crazy needle threaded fucking double stun shit left and right. Like you just don't do that unless you're like on point with your mechanics on that champion and you're fresh.
Yeah.
Right? He's hard to I don't know, it's not that he's hard to execute. Thresh is hard to execute too,
His
but
ultimates are game winning potentially. Like
right.
it's so hard to get really good at those. I understand that.
And it's also like a mindset thing. Like you have to see the play. That
Yeah.
I so you can suffer from on Thresh because he's so versatile that when you
Right.
don't play him enough, you fall into autopilot. Yeah, we're back. We're falling into
Hey,
autopilot on
circle
it.
back around.
You know, but like, yeah, those are my like top four, and I haven't even played Karma this season. I don't think in ranked. Maybe I have. Uh,
She was
nope.
pretty shit for a while after her nerfs. So
No, I played her once and lost, but that wasn't in solo queue. No, it
okay.
wasn't solo queue, and I lost horribly. Yeah, but I mean, that was like my fourth. That was like my fourth highest mastery, so that shouldn't be me reaching, but it wasn't there. But I mean, yeah, I played Thrush, I played Blitz, and then Zillion Morgana are like literally the opposite of that. I have pull champions and poke mages. You know, and then beyond that, I have protection champions. Tom Kinch, Janna, Braum are my next three. And they're each like 3 games apiece.
Yeah.
Whereas Thresh and Blitz are like all of my games.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's like a heavy focus on one thing. But I mean, also, fortunately, Thresh is a champion that you're never going to like pick Thresh and lose. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where it's like Quinn, that could be a real thing that you pick Quinn and lose.
So you basically just don't play Enchantress supports.
I mean, I do. I've,
Typically in ranked, though.
but not in ranked. No, I don't. I
Right.
don't really. There was
I
a
mean,
time when I played the
I'm
shit out
glad
of
because like
Janna.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, shit, Janna is actually like a fun version of Soraka. You know, like you can actually make plays with Janna when you're good with her, but it's Soraka. It's like you can't make plays; you can just ruin them, and
Yep.
that's it. And Janna can both ruin and make things happen, so it's like less infuriating to play. Yeah, I mean, it's still awful to play against, no matter how you shake it. But I feel like at least Janna's more like I don't want to just punch myself in the kidneys till I piss blood playing Janna. Whereas like a hospital visit for that would be a lovely alternative to finishing a game with Soraka, as or
Mhm.
against. The champion
Right.
is AIDS. Anyway, But yeah, I mean, shit, man. Like, I have over, I have 27 Mastery 7 champions right now. And all but like 4 or 5 of those, well, probably like 6 of those are supports.
Do you know how many I have?
No, no,
Want
I
to
do
take a
not.
guess?
I'll take a guess right now after I look up your name.
Oh, shit. Oh, we just do a pop quiz.
Is it 4? Do you have
It's
4?
4. It's exactly 4.
Whoa!
Whoa.
How did I guess that? And let me guess what they are. Are
Oh,
they
guess away.
Timo
Just
Zillion Brand Cassiopeia? I could have guessed that without looking, by the way.
yes, you could. I know. That's why I asked.
So, no, that's, and by the way, you have 1.7 million mastery points on Timo.
That's correct. The dark side is still there.
Hmm.
I'm a monster.
I'm a monster. It's like Buster Bluth's birthday.
Yep.
You're killing me, Zillow.
I actually
With the
am
banner.
Buster. Buster, if you played League.
It was a loose seal. It had a bow tie. Okay. We'll wrap up there. I think good episode 204, man.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Anything else for the community that you can think of before we roll?
I'll tell them later. Not that
Sexy.
important.
Good night, everybody!